Look up. The sky above you feels endless, quiet. You know nothing strange could grow inside it. But on May 31st, 2013, the sky above Oklahoma began to build something that should not have been possible. You wouldn't have recognized it in time. A storm wider than entire cities. Winds faster than a passenger jet. A force so massive, it broke the very scale we use to measure tornadoes. And the 3 scientists who got closest to it never came back. Let's go back to that afternoon, minute by minute, and find out what the sky created over El Reno. It's May 31st, 2013. 2 hours in the afternoon. You're standing on a quiet country road in central Oklahoma, just outside a small town called El Reno. Around you, flat green fields stretch to the horizon. Wheat, cattle, old fence lines. The air is warm, heavy, almost sweet from the spring soil. But something is wrong above your head. The sky is too blue. The clouds are too still. The wind has stopped completely. If you knew what to look for, you'd already be running. This part of Oklahoma sits inside something meteorologists call Tornado Alley, the most active stretch of land on Earth for severe storms. Locals grow up reading the sky the way other people read the news. And today, the sky is whispering something they have never heard before. At 2:40 p.m., far above the plains, the atmosphere quietly snaps. A wall of cold, dry air sweeps down from the north. Underneath it, warm, wet air pushes up from the Gulf of Mexico. The two collide directly above central Oklahoma. The result is something called a supercell, a thunderstorm with a rotating heart. By 5 p.m., the storm is already 9 kilometers tall. By 6 p.m., it has doubled. By the time it reaches El Reno, it is 15 kilometers high, taller than Mount Everest standing on Mount Everest. Inside this storm, an invisible engine is spinning. Updrafts of warm air rise faster than 240 kilometers per hour. They pull moisture, dust, debris, even small birds straight into the clouds. At 6:03 p.m., the engine finds its perfect balance, and a tornado is born. It touches the ground gently at first, a thin rope of dust barely visible. For a moment, it looks ordinary. It is not. What happens next has never been recorded before. In less than 3 minutes, the tornado swells from a quiet funnel into something that doesn't fit on any chart that exists. It grows, and grows, and grows. By 6:18 p.m., it is over 4 kilometers wide, wider than the city of Manhattan from river to river. For the first time in recorded history, scientists are watching a tornado bigger than most towns it could enter. But size is not the only problem. Inside this single massive funnel, smaller funnels are spinning at their own speeds. 3, 5, sometimes more. Each one a tornado in its own right. The whole structure becomes a multi-vortex storm, a rotating storm made of rotating storms. And those smaller funnels are moving faster than anything on Earth. Radar locks onto one of them and reads its wind speed. 484 kilometers per hour. That number is more than 100 kilometers per hour, faster than the cruising speed of a commercial passenger jet. It is the second highest wind speed ever measured on the planet. There is no category for what is happening above El Reno. The official scale used to rank tornadoes, the Enhanced Fujita scale, only goes up to EF5. The El Reno tornado is operating in numbers that the scale was never built to describe. The sky has invented something the science of meteorology has no name for. Most people see a storm like this and run. A small handful of people in the world run toward it. One of them is named Tim Samaras. If you have ever watched a documentary about tornadoes, you have probably seen him. Tim was a self-taught engineer from Colorado. He built his own tornado probes, small, heavy, mushroom-shaped instruments designed to be dropped directly in the path of a twister to measure pressure, temperature, and wind from the inside. For more than 20 years, he was the man who knew how to get close to a tornado without being taken by it. He was careful, patient, almost mathematical in his caution. The scientific community trusted him completely. That afternoon, Tim is in central Oklahoma with his son Paul and his research partner Carl Young. They have one goal: get a probe in front of the El Reno tornado and capture its inner data for the first time in scientific history. They follow the storm carefully. They calculate the road grid. They calculate the storm's predicted path. They calculate distance, escape routes, every angle that 20 years of experience has taught them to calculate. What they do not know yet is that the El Reno tornado is not following the rules. At 6:23 p.m., the storm makes a sudden 90-degree turn east. It accelerates from 25 to over 90 kilometers per hour in a single minute. The road network they are driving on does not give them a way out. The tornado overtakes their vehicle. Tim Samaras, his son Paul, and Carl Young become the first storm researchers in history to be lost during direct scientific observation of a tornado. Their final transmissions, their probes, their measurements, almost all of it is recovered later. Some of the most detailed close-range tornado data ever collected exists today because they took it before the storm took them. Their last hour of work changed everything that came after. The El Reno tornado lives for 40 minutes. It travels 26 kilometers across the Oklahoma plains. It carves a path so wide that satellites can see it from orbit. It crosses highways, lifts cars, removes entire fields. By 6:43 p.m., it has dissipated back into the sky as quietly as it formed. But what it leaves behind is not just a scar in the ground. It leaves a scientific crisis. The Enhanced Fujita scale, the system meteorologists rely on to rate tornadoes from EF0 to EF5, is suddenly under question. The El Reno tornado had wind speeds that easily belonged to a category that does not officially exist. Some scientists call it EF6 unofficially. Others argue that the wind speed measurements taken inside multi-vortex tornadoes need to be interpreted in a different way entirely. The damage scale used to estimate tornado strength is also exposed. The El Reno tornado spent most of its life over open fields. There were no buildings, no structures, no recognizable damage patterns to measure it against. By the official rating, it became an EF3. Some researchers still consider this the most underrated tornado in modern history. Outside the scale debate, the lessons multiply. Doppler radar systems are upgraded across the country to better detect multi-vortex structures. Storm chasing protocols are completely rewritten. New escape distance rules are taught to every scientist working in the field. The probe data Tim Samaras left behind helps researchers refine the way tornadoes are modeled inside computer simulations, even today. The way humanity sees tornadoes was set on May 31, 2013, and we are still learning from that single afternoon. El Reno did not just break a record. It broke the assumption that we had figured tornadoes out. For decades, scientists believed they understood the upper limits of what an atmospheric vortex on Earth could do. The El Reno tornado quietly showed that the upper limit was actually higher, and we had simply never been close enough to see it. In the years since, the United States National Weather Service has built more sensitive radar networks across the Midwest. Storm researchers now keep larger safety distances. Tornado warnings have been redesigned to communicate not just direction, but size and unpredictability. And every spring, when Tornado Alley heats up again, a new generation of scientists drives toward the horizon, carrying the lessons that 3 people left them in one impossible afternoon. Look up again. The sky above you is still calm, still quiet, still endless, but it isn't empty. Right now, somewhere on Earth, warm air and cold air are colliding in patterns that we are only beginning to understand. Somewhere a small rope of dust is just touching the ground, looking ordinary, hiding what it might become. The El Reno sky never warned anyone in time. Modern science is still working so that the next one might. So here is my question for you. If something as familiar as the sky can still surprise us this completely, what other natural systems around us are silently waiting to teach us something we are not ready to learn? Tell me in the comments. If you want to keep exploring how our world really works, subscribe and come with us on the next journey. The sky still has so many lessons left to teach.